So I guess pigs can fly now, because what on earth is DJI doing making a 360 camera? I was over here with the impression that the Insta360 X5 had that market on lock. What's next? These guys gonna make a drone or something? Regardless, 360 cameras are the camera to have if you ride motorcycles. They're incredibly easy to set up, they're versatile, and they film everything around you. So in today's video, I've got what might be the two best 360 cameras on the market. I've got the Insta360 X5, the industry standard that we all know of, and we have the new kid on the block, DJI's new Osmo 360. In today's video, I'm going to be putting these two head to head to find out which one is better for motorcycle riders like us. Now guys, this video is sponsored by Insta360. Yep, that's right. They are so confident that they are still the 360 kings, they requested me do a comparison between their Insta360 X5 and this Osmo 360. Now, because this video is sponsored, my job is not here to tell you guys which camera is better. That would not really be fair and make no sense. What my job is to take both of these cameras and put them in real world filming scenarios that you guys are gonna use them in, and just put them side by side and let you guys make the judgment call of which camera you think is better. So, let's find out who the 360 king is. Now, before we get into the riding footage and the blind test, I want to go over the specs of both of these cameras because I feel like knowing the internals of the camera will make the test results a little more interesting. As you guys can see, the DJI Osmo 360 is short and wide, kind of like somebody took an action camera and squished it into a cube. Now, Insta360's X5 on the other hand still has that tall, skinny shape that we're kind of used to for 360 cameras. Now, neither of these shapes is going to be a pro or a con necessarily. I don't see a lot of people mounting 360 cameras on their helmet. Most of the time when people are using 360 cameras, they're mounting them to the actual motorcycle itself, but the shape could come in play depending on where you want to mount the camera. Now, for resolution and video options, the Osmo 360 uses two fairly large 1/1.1 inch HDR sensors. These things are shooting up to 8K at 50 frames a second, 6K at 60 frames a second, or 4K at a slow-mo friendly 120 frames a second. It can also capture massive 120 megabyte stills. Now, the X5 sensors are slightly smaller at 1/1.28 inches, but the bigger sensors don't automatically mean better image quality. Lens design, aperture, and image processing all play a huge role. For example, do you guys remember Insta360's old 1RS? It was also a 360 camera with a 1-inch sensor, but it did not outperform the X5 despite having that larger sensor because the X5 processing power is designed to pull more detail, control noise, and balance light really well. So it seems like the Osmo 360 really leans on that larger sensor, whereas the X5 focuses on image processing to get its results. We'll have to see which one fares better when we get to our testing. Now, for stabilization and color, DJI are bringing over their Rocksteady 360 stabilization, which is going to make your footage look buttery smooth even if your bike is shaking like crazy, as well as their 10-bit D-Log-M color profile. These are all similar things to their Action 5 Pro, and that 10-bit color profile is going to really help if you want to change the colors in post. I will note that if you use that profile, you are going to have to edit that footage to actually make it look good. It is certainly not going to be something that you are just going to film and directly post to the internet. I guess you could, but it would not look great. Now, Insta360 on the other hand is running their flow state stabilization, which they have been running for a while now on all of their cameras, and if you guys have used a 360 product, you know the flow state stuff works great. On the color end, they are doing something a little different though. They have something called adaptive tone, which they use with HDR, and apparently it's supposed to give you more highlight detail and shadow detail. Those are things you normally get with the log profiles, but it's in a share ready format and looks great right out of the camera. Now, crazy to say this, but both of these 360 cameras have their low light modes. If you guys are familiar with their action cameras, they're bringing over those exact same modes. On Insta360, we have pure video, and then on the DJI end, we have super night. Both of these modes are supposed to give you way more detail and color in low light footage, so I cannot wait to see the side-by-side comparisons of both of these cameras. And later in the video, you guys stick around because we're also going to be doing side-by-side to those color profiles as well. So next up, let's talk about durability and lens quality. I'm very happy to say both of these cameras are waterproof with absolutely no cases, but this is where the Insta360 X5 has a little bit of a trick up its sleeve. The lenses on this camera are replaceable, and as a guy who on the first day using the X5 dropped it, the lens hit a rock and it scratched the lens, I'm very happy to say it's a very easy process. You just buy this little kit and you can replace the lenses. Unfortunately, the Osmo 360, the lenses are fixed and you cannot change them out. So if something happens to these, you're either gonna have to deal with a little blur on your footage or you're gonna be looking at getting a new camera. Now for storage, the Osmo 360 actually has 128 gigabytes of storage built into the camera, meaning that you can film on that camera by just putting a battery in it, which is absolutely fantastic. If you guys are familiar with their Action 5 Pro, it has onboard storage, and that has saved me multiple times when my SD card filled up. Normally I would have to go into the camera and delete stuff out, but all I have to do is swap over to the internal storage and boom, I can keep recording. I absolutely love that, and the Osmo 360 is also capable of taking cards up to 1 terabyte. Now, what you do get with the Insta360 X5 is 1 terabyte of cloud storage for a year after you purchase the camera. This is pretty awesome if you want to be backing up footage and you don't want to necessarily put it on cards or hard drives. So that's pretty neat that they give you guys that option to see if you even like using their cloud stuff. Alright guys, so let's talk battery test on the Osmo 360 versus the X5. Now, I didn't go in depth with this with endurance mode and endurance batteries and all this kind of stuff. I literally took 2 fully charged batteries, put them directly in the cameras, and started recording them with them in the exact same video modes, and here's what I found. First off, the DJI in full video mode lasted 1 hour and 3 minutes. That's not bad, that's a long time to be shooting. Surprisingly, the Insta360 X5 lasted 1 hour and 33 minutes, almost 30 minutes longer than the Osmo 360. Now, seeing that being so different, I might need to go and research like what is causing that big of a difference, because if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I kind of was expecting the DJI to really have a longer battery life than the Insta360, because the battery life on the Osmo Action 5 Pro is so incredibly long. I don't know what's happening with the Osmo 360, but battery life is way shorter than the Osmo Action 5. To wrap up the stats thing, let's talk about price and ecosystem. Now, the Osmo 360 is going to come in a bit cheaper than the X5, and if you already have a lot of DJI products, you might be swayed to go to the Osmo 360 because, one, it uses the same batteries as the Action 5 Pro, which is super nice if you already have an Action 5 Pro like myself and you have a lot of batteries for it. They will work directly in your Osmo 360, and it works good with the entire ecosystem that DJI has built out with their microphones and their quick release and all that stuff. Matter of fact, both of these cameras will fit in the exact same quick release systems that their Action 5 counterparts can use. This is fantastic news, especially for us that have built out a lot of accessories inside of these little Insta360 and DJI networks. You can just get a camera and still use your exact same mounting. I absolutely love that on both sides. Where the X5 gets an edge in this category is accessory availability. Now, this camera's been on the market for way longer, and it's like the #1 selling 360 camera, so naturally, other third-party companies are going to be making accessories for that camera. So if you're one of those guys that likes accessories and gadgets and all types of stuff to get with your camera, you are gonna have way more options with the Insta360 X5 as opposed to the Osmo 360, just because it hasn't been in the market that long. Anyway, that's something worth noting if you're one of those people that likes accessories. Alright guys, you made it through the stats section. Nice job, you're a trooper. Now, let's get to the side-by-side testing. This is where I get so excited in these videos to see, literally, pixel to pixel, which camera is better in different scenarios. We're gonna start out with daylight testing, and if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, when these 360 cameras have plenty of light, it is really hard to tell them apart. So, because of that, I think we should make this interesting, and let's play the guessing game. So, there's gonna be a camera A, and again be a camera B. I'm gonna show you guys side-by-side shots. I had both cameras mounted directly next to each other, and I want you guys to decide which camera is which. Check out the daytime testing. guys see what I mean? When these cameras have a ton of light, they both look great. Also, I forgot to mention a second ago, but in every one of my tests, I'm putting both cameras as close to spec as possible on what settings they're shooting on. Now for the next test, we're gonna go into the low light / golden hour testing. This is normally when it's absolutely gorgeous outside, but you are starting to lose light. This is where a normal camera like I'm talking to you guys on would have no problem. They all look fantastic in this amount of light, but with these tinier cameras and action cameras, they normally start falling apart when they start losing light. So I'm really interested to see if we can start seeing any differences in like the shadow detail and stuff like that. So let's check out the low light testing. Alright guys, so the next test we have is the color grading in the profiles section. Now I told you guys earlier the Osmo 360 has 10-bit color, and if I was to explain as easy as I possibly could what 10-bit color is, 10-bit color is like having a box of 1,000 crayons versus 8-bit is like having a box of 100 crayons. With the 1,000 crayons, you can have way more smooth shading with your colors, and it allows you to really push and pull your colors in your footage when you're editing before it falls apart. Now, the X5 doesn't have 10-bit, but they do have a flat color profile that they call iLog, and it comes out when you record it looking super dull like this. Now, it's made to look like that specifically, so when you go to edit the footage, you can kind of make it look like whatever you want. This is what iLog footage looks like beforehand, and then you can edit it to look like this. Now with that D-Log M profile on the Osmo 360, our footage starts out looking like this, and then once we get done coloring it, you can get it to look like this. So this next comparison is kind of going to be apples to oranges, but I'm going to show you guys anyway because I think it's interesting. So here's what both cameras look like in their kind of flat profiles before we grade them. And then this is what they can look like after we grade them and get them looking like we want to look like. So that's what both cameras are able to look like, and that's just the way we like grading them. You guys could grade them in any other way if you're into doing that type of thing. Keep in mind, the X5 still also has that adaptive tone with HDR that is supposed to make footage that's ready to post with no grading necessary. Alright guys, next up is the audio comparison. Now, both cameras have microphones all over the cameras to capture the best audio possible, but one of the things that I do want to point out is that the X5 has that same technology that they brought over from the Ace Pro 2, where they almost have like a wind guard on top of the microphone on the camera. Now, when you guys are watching the footage, I want you to keep that in mind. I don't believe the Osmo 360 has anything like that, and I think you might notice it. So the first test we're gonna do, both cameras are mounted in the exact same place on the exact same bike, and we're gonna show you footage first of the X5, and then we're gonna show you of the Osmo 360. This is just onboard audio on the cameras. Okay, so that's just the onboard footage on the cameras, but both of these companies make small, very affordable microphones that can pair very easily with each camera, so I wanted to test those as well, just in case you guys were interested in grabbing those. Now, what I tested was with the Osmo 360, I tested it with their DJI Mic Mini. That's this very small little microphone, and you can get the kit for the Mini for 89 bucks or something like that. If I'm incorrect, I'll put it on the screen. Now, Insta360 also has a brand new accessory that they just released for their X5 and all of their other cameras called the Mic Air. It works the exact same as the Mic Mini. It easily just pairs with the camera, so that's the mic that I'm going to be using for that, and I think it comes in a price tag of right at 50 bucks. So here's the back-to-back testing. Same thing, cameras are in the exact same position, and microphones, more importantly, are in the exact same position. Here's what it sounded like on the exact same bike on the same ride. There you go, guys. That's both of the tiny microphones that each company offers. This is one of the kind of surprises that I came out of this video realizing is both DJI and Insta360 make really affordable, really easy to place small microphones that work really well. Alright guys, so next up is my favorite comparison, and that is the night footage. I am still not over the fact that we can now go ride motorcycles at night and we have cameras that can film it and look great. I'm still not past that. I'm still in the headspace of action cameras and 360 cameras just can't handle nighttime footage. So this is my favorite comparison. We're gonna do the same thing. We have camera A, we have camera B. I'm gonna show you guys the footage. You guys let me know which camera you think is which for the nighttime testing, and you guys check this footage out. There you go, guys. That is nighttime footage with 360 cameras. I don't care what company you guys want to go with or not, but after looking at all this footage, I'm like, bro, we got some sick cameras going on right now. I absolutely love it. So I hope you guys got a lot of information from this comparison video. I certainly know I did. These are my favorite videos to do, to put cameras in the exact same scenario and see which one performs better. I think it's fascinating. And to make this as fair as possible, I'm gonna have links for both cameras in the description down below. They're both affiliate links. I get a little kickback if you get any of the cameras. And you guys let me know, of all the footage and all the testing we did in this video, what was it that convinced you guys you wanted one camera over the other? I'm interested to know what's important to you guys, because what's important to y'all might not be as important to me. It's just up to your preference and how you ride. Anyways, guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. You guys let me know which camera you prefer in the comments down below. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, share this video out with one of you bros that you want to go ride with one of these cameras. And I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys go out there and ride safe on whatever you're riding on, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.